Everyone from Chelsea Fan TV, my name is Alex. We're standing outside Selhurst Park and Charlie, my friend, I just want to say this now. I want to say I was sat next to you the whole game and you weren't impressed with what you've seen for the most part, you know, and it's understandable, you know, we struggled, but we kept plugging away, and we got 3 goals to finish it off. I mean, the scenes after that second goal, some of the best limbs I've ever seen, mate.
Mate, it was fucking... Mate, we've had 2 back-to-back unbelievable away days, mate. Palace and Villa, both 3-1s. Both, well, I'd say not unexpected. The Villa one was unexpected, but this one was... I was quite confident heading into this one. And look, the first half was shocking, but second half, we got an early goal through Gallagher, and then I thought we'd push on a little bit. But it kind of petered out a little bit, and then I just thought, with about a couple minutes left, I was like, we're going to drop points here, which is, like, totally unacceptable. Then we popped up with 2 goals in basically in added time. Away end was class, fans were amazing, limbs were unreal. And we get out of jail with a win, and ultimately, like, the win kind of makes you forget about that first half, because right now, mate, this part of the season, or just this season in general, we're going to get inconsistent performances, and it's just about winning, mate, any way possible, and we managed to do that today, some way, somehow. We popped up with a couple of goals from midfield have basically been virtually non-existent. I've said about Gallagher, the one thing he was good at was scoring goals, and then that seemed to have left him, and everything else improved. Now, the goal scoring touch is back. That's 3 goals in his last 2 games, and the guy's going to have a year left on his contract in the summer, and doesn't look like there's any sign of any new ones coming, of any talks for a new one. But yeah, look, mate, I'm delighted with tonight. The win of 3 points, vitally important to move 2 points within 7th place. We've got a tough run coming up, so we really had to win this game tonight. But if we're being brutally honest, the performance wasn't great, but ultimately football's a results-based business, and we fucking won.
What aspects of the performance didn't you like? Because, I mean, that was the majority of the game, really. We scored our goals late. Yeah. Ultimately, as you said, it's a results-based business. But if we would have drawn this game or lost this game, we would have spoken about the performance countlessly. So, I mean, let's just dissect what we've seen, and then we can touch on the positives as well.
Mate, first half was just terrible, absolutely awful. Like, you know, we had what? It took us to the 46th minute to have a shot, and it was off target. So we had no shots on target in that first half. Don't forget, this is a Palace side with no Elise, no Eze, and no Mark Gallagher, their captain at the back. And we had no shots on target in that first half. We were slow moving the ball, you know, no ideas, no one was moving around. Midfield was non-existent. You could park a fucking private jet in with a gap between a midfield and defence. Like, mate, the whole thing was awful. And, like, you know, it's just... I don't understand. I get there's going to be inconsistencies, but how you can be so good against Aston Villa and then suddenly in that first half be absolutely awful? It's basically just like roulette, mate. You just got no idea what you're going to get from this team right now. You might come up with like a fucking royal flush. I know that's poker, but you might get one of them, or you might just get a fucking dud hand. Yeah. And that first half we got a dud hand. It was really important second half that we come out and we got that goal early to level things up. But I thought even once we levelled it up, I thought we then just dropped off again a little bit. You know, things kind of petered out. Yes, Palace didn't really create that many chances. They didn't really offer that much, but at the same time, I expected a lot more from us. I was a little bit confused by the substitutions as well.
Which ones?
Sterling coming on didn't make sense. Mudryk would have been more useful, or Chukwuemeka could have been useful as well. It's 2 games in a row now unused sub. He come on at Anfield, did well, got an assist for the Nkunku goal, looked decent. Unused sub now, 2 games in a row. I know obviously Gusto was maybe feeling the pace a little bit. Gilchrist come on for him, but yeah, the fact that Mudryk and Chukwuemeka was both unused subs when you're chasing a game didn't really make sense to me. But ultimately, mate, we've won, so you know you don't want to moan too much, because football's about winning. And I'm delighted that we're getting goals from midfield. And look, a lot of people have been critical of Conor Gallagher this season. A lot of people don't rate him, but ultimately his value to this Chelsea side is immeasurable at this point in time. This season, he's so crucial, and it's come up clutch today with 2 vital goals that we desperately needed, because we're standing here having a very different conversation if we don't win that game, whether it's a loss or a draw. It's a totally different conversation, totally different mindset heading into City, Cup final, Brentford away, Newcastle, etc. coming up again. It's a tough run, mate. So, like, don't underestimate how important these clutch moments are, and the fact that, you know, talks haven't even been open for a new contract is disgraceful, really, in my opinion.
I think it's justified because of how bad we've been as a team and the lack of output from Gallagher, but that's clearly going to change if his form continues.
Yeah, he's been brilliant, mate. Regardless of what you think of him, like, he deserves a new contract anyway, because even just to preserve preserve his value, because right now he's got a year left on his contract. His value's plummeting.
Yeah, but why would he sign if he didn't feel he was being valued? You know, I'm not saying it's like Mason Mount when you want $250,000 a week. I think he wants 150 grand, which for a Premier League player in a so-called elite club, I mean that's a fair ask, I think.
Yeah, it's not much to ask for, mate, I don't think. But yeah, look, obviously, hopefully the club do the right thing. Gallagher wants to stay. Poch wants him to stay. We know Gallagher wants to stay. So it's now down to Gallagher and the club and how much the club value him, and if the club actually want to keep him or they just want to use him as a FFP get out of jail free card. So we'll wait and see. But look, I thought Gusto was good again tonight. Fantastic ball into the box for that first goal. Obviously, the goal we conceded was awful from a perspective of Madueke and Caicedo. Don't know what the fuck they were doing there. It's a good finish from Lerma, in all fairness, but we just kept plugging away, mate. And ultimately, sometimes you just got to grind results out. It felt a little bit like a Man United-esque performance where we didn't really play that well, but we somehow got the job done. I don't want to say it was a smash and grab because Palace didn't play that well, but you know, it's playing not very well ourselves and managing to pick results up. And the confidence that's going to give this young team is huge. It's going to be really, really important, because moments like that where you're a young team, is like away from home, tight pitch, you know, needing a result, you could very easily fold. And these guys kept going, and they're going to be all the better for that experience.
Yeah. Talk to me about Poch doing the same thing twice over and playing Fernandes deep next to Caicedo.
Yeah, great. That's what he should be doing. I'm glad that he stuck to his guns. Lineup was what I expected. Obviously, they're being a little bit cautious with Nkunku still. Fair enough. And then obviously Thiago Silva coming in for the injured Badiashile. Understandable when Colwell's and he just come back from injury himself. I suppose negatives from tonight, other than the first half, Silva going off injured and then Colwell looking like he's injured again. He looked like he was struggling a little bit at the end there. I can't even remember if he went off or not, but going to be sweating on Silva's fitness for the cup final potentially as well. So yeah, we could suddenly be in a situation where we've got Badiashile, Colwell and Silva all missing for the final if the worst case scenario develops. But yeah, we just got to hope for good news in regards to that. But I'm delighted with like, you know, just to never say die attitude. So we kept plugging away right till the end, just kept going and kept going. That's what you've got to do. Could have been very easy to let our heads drop, but we didn't. We plugged away, and you know, we came up trumps. Two great finishes from Gallagher, and then Enzo Fernandez getting another goal as well. He's adding more goals to his game, and they're just great scenes in the away end. And what was looking like it was heading towards a bit of a negative evening suddenly turned into a really positive one.
Yeah, absolutely. And for me, I think that, you know, I completely agree with you with regards to the Sterling substitute. That was the one substitute where I thought it doesn't really make sense, because I thought Jackson was actually having a decent game, and I think he was linking up quite well with Nkunku and other players and just brought some energy. But I mean, there is really a conversation to be had about the cup final, because ultimately Pochettino has said, whether we know this is true or not, he's going to be playing players based on form. Form over the past few games has suggested that Madueke might get the start, but again, not a great game today. I wouldn't blame him if he didn't start in the cup final, just for the fact that you don't want to see mistakes like that in the crucial moments. Doesn't matter what you do up the top end of the pitch. If you concede a goal, it's just as bad.
Yeah, no, it absolutely is, mate. And like, you know, this game, obviously, people are playing for places in the cup final. Saturday at City, going to be playing for places in the cup final. Obviously, got to be on it in training as well to impress the manager. Madueke's done well in the last few games, but having said that, to have a bit of a sinker tonight with the cup final so close is not ideal. He might not keep his place for the City game, we don't really know. But yeah, there's places up for grabs, mate. Certainly in that three behind the striker, and suddenly at centre back there's places up for grabs as well, given the injuries that we've currently got there. So yeah, look, people have got to play for the places in the cup final. You've got to pick it on merit, who deserves to play, players in form. But to be honest with you, I think the team pretty much picks itself in my opinion for that cup final, providing, you know, players stay fit. But yeah, look, tonight, mate, was important. We had to come here and win, and we did. The fans were outstanding tonight. Scenes in the away end were brilliant. One of the best of the season, certainly. Probably two of the best back to back. And then we go again, obviously, on Saturday against City, which is going to be a tough ask. But mate, what is it about Selhurst Park and Conor Gallagher winners last minute? We had top bins last season in Graham Potter's first. Can you believe, mate? This is when we come here last year. It was Graham Potter's first game in charge in the Prem.
Yeah.
Last season, mad how much has changed that quickly. But he put one top top bins there, and he pops up with 2 tonight and another last-minute winner. He obviously, mate, he loves coming here. Loves coming here.
And he was giving it to the Palace fans as well.
And he was giving it to the Palace fans as well. Do you know what, mate? Highlight of the first half was giving it to that Palace fan, mate. It was good fun. But yeah, mate, I'm delighted. You know, this is really, really important for this group of players. And you know, it was on a knife edge, mate, because literally we just said if we'd drawn that game, it would have been toxic and people would have been raging and they probably would have been booed off, and you're having a very different conversation. This team is still very much like on a fine edge, mate. You know, it's 1 week it could be toxic atmosphere, or we've lived to fight another day, 2 games on the spin now. But if we turn up at City and get heavily beaten and embarrassed, then it's back to sort of that negativity again. So yeah, we're in a difficult moment at the moment, but winning breeds confidence, and winning keeps the fans happy and keeps the fans on side. So that's the most important thing, man. We got the job done.
Yeah. Just your last question, mate. I mean, what do you think about Pochettino? Because he's come out and he said a lot of things. He said he doesn't feel the love from the fans. He understands why he doesn't feel the love, but he feels respected, and he understands that, you know, we're used to more success than we've had over the past few years, and we still need to give it time. We need to be patient. It's a new Chelsea.
Yeah, look, I think a lot of what he said is true. You know, the fans aren't going to be loving him after 6 or 7 months, because you know that it takes time to build that bond and that relationship with the fans. Cup final will certainly go towards doing that. I think, look, I know every manager's different, but I think, you know, he could make a little bit more of an effort to connect with the fan base. Like, he never comes over at the end of games to applaud the fans, whether it's an away match or whether it's at the bridge. He tends to go straight down the tunnel. That's up to him, of course, and everyone's different, but I think that would help build a relationship with the fans if he were to do that. Maybe he just wants to let the players have the plaudits and he wants to take a back seat, but I think he could do a bit more, make a bit more effort to connect with the fan base. I also feel like, obviously, every manager's different, and like some managers are a little bit less, you know, passive in terms of how they are on the touch. And I'm not saying they have to be jumping up and down for 90 minutes, but Poch seems to spend a lot of the game just sat in the dugout, arms folded. Maybe we could see a little bit more from him in terms of being a bit more pragmatic on the touchline. But yeah, look, I think he's doing an okay job right now in difficult circumstances, and as long as he keeps winning, then you can't really complain about it.